Absolutely abysmal. There's not much more you can say about that. As Philadelphia Eagles fans, not only I or Zach should be embarrassed, but you guys should be embarrassed yourself. You should not go to the stadium anymore. You shouldn't give any money to this god-awful franchise that we love so much. This franchise that once won a Super Bowl in 2018, well, the 2018-2017 season, is no more. This team is a laughing stock. This franchise is garbage. The two clowns in the front office have a puppet running this team who decided to accept the penalty when the Raiders were running off the field to pump the ball away and ultimately change the momentum of the game. I'm sick. I'm disgusted. I was holding back a lot of my feelings. I wasn't trying too hard to post on Twitter because, I honestly, I don't even know if you can hear me, but if you can, good. If not, it is what it is. But if not, you'll be listening to my lips move and not much. The TV is too loud. I don't have a TV on, so that is what it is. But yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles are a joke, and other than that, my opening. Can you guys hear now? Can you guys hear me now? Is it good?
Yeah, it's a terrible echo.
What's a terrible echo?
You.
Me?
Yeah, from what I hear. It's probably because where you're sitting.
All right.
Just bouncing off the wall.
All right. This is what I'll do. I'll unplug my mic, and I'll let Zach talk. Zach, what's up?
All right, so I think Kyle was right, nailing it right on the head. This is abysmal. Everything that we saw today is just ridiculous. So bad that I don't even think Zomp wanted to come onto the show because that's how piss poor the Eagles have played today. Now, I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was today. Obviously, I was wrong. Everything was abysmal from the offense to the defense to the special teams. You name it, it was pure garbage. Jalen Hurts not making plays, the defense not being able to get stops, just from head to toe, this is an abysmal game. And, there's not much more you can say about it other than that they're terrible. Like, Kyle wants to talk for 20, 25 minutes, and it's hard to say anything positive in the next 20 to 25 minutes. And I've always considered myself an optimist. I try to be an optimist. I try to explain things in the best way possible where I stay even keeled. But it's just the more you watch, it's 7 weeks in, and this team does not look like they're even getting better. And the sad part is the offensive play calling's been abysmal. The defensive scheme's been abysmal, and it's horrible. It's horrible. Like a vanilla defense where they're having guys throw all over them. You know what you do with a vanilla defense? At the very least, you get pressure after the quarterback and force them into turnovers. It's ridiculous that we're playing such a vanilla defense, and at the end of the day, something needs to change, or else we're in for a very long season. It's only a third of the way through, and we're in for a very long season. Kyle, are you back with me?
Back. Do I sound any better or no?
Yeah, a lot better.
A lot better. All right, good. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. I didn't really take that much time to set up today because obviously I was going off a whim. But like I was saying before, Eagles fans deserve so much better. The Super Bowl title was 4 years ago. I was watching this game with a blank stare. Once Nick Sirianni, that bonehead fucking cunt. I can't really say it that loud because, he hates that word.
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah. I literally despise this man. I was telling Zomp once he decided to accept that penalty, I was done with the game. And I think it was a 0-0 game at that point, or we were up 7-0 or something like that. I don't even remember. I was just done with that game because I knew he fucked up the game. You can't make that type of decision on the road to a team that just fired their coach 2 weeks ago and want to play with fire. You can't make that decision. They were running off the field. They showed their hand before he decided to decide what to do. They were running off the field. I don't know why you'd accept that penalty. He's a bonehead. He's a puppet. He stinks at his job. He is a one-and-done type coach. If it were up to me, he'd be gone tomorrow. The guy is an idiot. He is an idiot. And you know what else he did? When Miles Sanders went out of the game with the injury, He decided to still run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. With our second stringer, you know what our second stringer did? Ran right to the backside of Jason Kelsey, fumbled the ball, and continued that momentum swing to the Raiders' favor. This guy is the biggest clown I've ever seen in my life. And you want to know why I'm not bashing Jalen Hurts as much as I probably should, because he was abysmal yet again. Because we already know what Jalen Hurts is. I know what Jalen Hurts is. I like the super chat said at the beginning of the show. I'm going to read it right now. He said, Nitro, you're right. You were right. Everything you say. Of course I am, because whenever I say it, I mean it, and I mean everything I say. Jalen Hurts isn't the guy, and you know what pisses me off the most about Jalen Hurts? It's not the fact that he's such a bad NFL player, but it's the fact that he decides to turn up when the game doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't matter anymore. And he wants to pad his stats for all these fucking delusional Eagles fans that like to pull up stats saying that he's going to be the next Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, which is fucking ridiculous. He gives these fanboys what they want. Stats. That's all he does. He's a joke. I want him nowhere near this team. I used to think he was a good person, but someone that does that, someone that fills their own stats, usually he's a selfish player. And he doesn't have that feel of a selfish player, but it's just something I don't like about him now. It's something I don't like about him personally now. You know, and I know Zach's probably going to have a different opinion, but I just don't. I want him so far away from my team. I really do. I can't watch this guy play anymore, Zach. I really can't.
It's hard to blame you there. I'm not going to sit there and tell you, let's continue to watch him if he's going to stink like this. The only thing that I would say is if we switch to Joe Flacco, it's absolutely going to force Nick Sirianni's hands, and maybe he calls a little bit of a better game. As far as those looking for him to be a one-and-done type of coach, you said it. He's a puppet. He's a puppet. So you think Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are going to let their puppet go after one season? Absolutely not. Can the play calling get better? Can the coaching get better? There's nowhere else to go but up. So it has to get better, right? It has to get better. Yeah. I asked that question, but unfortunately, it sounds like a rhetorical question because I don't think it does get better, at least not this year. And it's just enough of being, positive from me. It's just enough is enough. I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm ready to watch this Sunday night game and hope that we at least get a good game because this whole weekend has been garbage NFL games. And on top of it, the Eagles played like garbage. So I'm hoping that we finish strong with a nice Sunday night game between the Colts and the 49ers, or else this Sunday was a waste of a day.
And listen, this is something I'll bring up right here, right now. All right, so Lord Brunson is a YouTuber. He's an Eagles YouTuber. He has almost like 20,000 subscribers, all right? He's a good content creator. He's entertaining, whatever, but he's in love with Jalen Hurts. He sells these bucket hats to have Hurts season on top of it, all right? I'm not going to hate on it because he's making his money. I don't hate on anyone that likes to make money. But the fact of the matter is that people like him are getting themselves into trouble. Because it's like when you have this much faith in a quarterback you literally know nothing about based off of how you talk about him, and you market it. You market your own brand based off his name. It's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And then all these people that bought these hats are going to come down on you asking for a refund and all this stuff. So this is why when I talk about these athletes being who they are or who they're not, I'm always honest. I'm not trying to sell you wolf tickets. I'm not trying to do any of that, because if I were to tell you a lie based off making money, or not even based off money, telling you a lie to throw shit at the wall to see if it stuck, and I was wrong, I'd be a laughing stock. I don't want to be a laughing stock. That's why I'm always honest in what I say. I was right about Carson Wentz not playing well here. His mentality was not right here. Indianapolis, somewhere else. In bumblefuck, he's playing better. Understandable. Jalen Hurts, horrible at Alabama, horrible at Oklahoma, horrible in the NFL when it comes to the big moments, all right? Then you have Ben Simmons, a bitch, Mr. Softy. I'm right about these things because at the end of the day, I want these teams to succeed. I genuinely do. And I'm not going to say Miles Sanders is horrible. Maybe I lie about that sometimes because I hate Penn State. Whatever. Nick doesn't run the guy. State. Yeah, I fucking hate Penn State. But the guy doesn't run Miles Sanders for a reason. Maybe it's because he only likes throwing the ball with a guy that can't throw. I don't know what it is. But you have to understand that our running backs really aren't that good. Like Kenneth Gainwell today, I always said that he had a pep in his step when it came to preseason, but again, it's preseason. You know, he came from not a small school, but a school that doesn't really care that much about football in Memphis. So I don't really care about Kenneth Gainwell. He was a fifth to sixth round pick, and he fumbled the ball today, but fumbling in the Jason Kelsey. So I mean, we don't have the best type of running backs. It looks like Miles Sanders is going to be out, so you're going to be seeing a lot more of Jalen Hurts running and a lot more of him throwing. It's not going to be good, and I'm guaranteeing you this right now, Eagles Nation, and you're not going to like this. I'm making my stone cold guarantee we lose to the Lions next week, and it's not because we're so bad or the fact that the Lions are so bad and they need to win. The Lions are a better football team than us. And the people want to say they're 0-6. You don't know what we're talking about. I think they're 0-7 now. But they're 0-7. You don't know what you're talking about. They won't win a game this year. This team almost beat the Baltimore Ravens. And if it weren't for a 67-yard field goal attempt that Justin Tucker made, they would have beat the Baltimore Ravens. They play with heart. They have a better coach than us. And honestly, I think they're a little bit more talented than us right now. That's my lock of the week. I think the Detroit Lions, actually, I know the Detroit Lions are going to beat us because they have heart. We don't. We suck. We're garbage. And it's actually better for us because the fact of the matter is when the Detroit Lions beat us next week, the Miami Dolphins will be the worst team in the league, and we'll probably be the fourth worst team in the league. 1-4 in the draft next year sounds pretty fucking good to me, Zach.
As long as we make the right picks, you could see a quick turnaround. You take a look at some of these teams. If, they get those high draft picks, they make the right picks, you can easily turn around a team. But that's the thing. Do you trust Howie Roseman to make the right picks? I like Howie Roseman in the front office as a cap wizard, not as a general manager. Reminds me a lot of the Knicks when they had Steve Mills, who was James Dolan's best friend. And year after year, this guy would just sign guys to terrible deals, but he was great at managing the office stuff. That's what Howie Roseman needs to do. He needs to step aside. You need a real general manager with real football knowledge in there and let Howie do what Howie does best and manage the cap and the draft capital and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, you need a football mind in there. And with this absurd amount of assets moving forward, whether Jalen Hurts is the guy or not, and right now he absolutely doesn't look anywhere near a guy to compete and build around, you have enough draft capital where you can take this team and build some young talent to at least give us a glimmer of hope moving forward for the future in the next 3 to 5 years. Because in the NFL, you can go from first to worst and worst to first real quick. And that's something that we could do with this draft capital.
Well, here's the thing. Someone brought up Matt Corral. I don't know if I'd want to spend a first or a fourth pick overall on Matt Corral. I think he's good, but I think that's a little bit too much of a jump. Here's the thing with Howie Roseman. I understand what people say about Howie Roseman. He stinks. He does stink. He's awful. I don't even care about the cap, to be honest with you. I don't care. He stinks. But the fact of the matter is, Howie Roseman is set up to be here next year because you want to know why? Last year we had a pretty bad season. Probably not as bad as this one, but we had a pretty bad season last year with our franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz. We sat him on the bench to play Jalen Hurts, who we selected in the second round, and Jalen Hurts looked worse and worse and worse as the season wound down. This guy picked him, So if he brought him back after that, what makes you think he's not going to bring him back after this? He's in it for the long haul because we don't have the cap to work with right now. So he'll be here next year. Now, what Zach said about trusting Howie Roseman to make these picks, well, it's pretty simple. A retard can make these picks, all right? A monkey throwing darts at a board can make these picks. If he messes up these picks, it's not necessarily his fault, to be honest with you, because a first pick overall and a fourth pick overall are supposed to be day one starters and pretty damn good at that. So if they don't pan out, that's just them. That might be a curse on us as a franchise. That's not up to Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman is just going to pick the player that falls in his lap, and if it's up to the player to pan out at that point. But if it were like a 10 through 20 pick, I could agree with you there. But I just don't agree with that because a first through fourth pick overall, they're guarantees for the most part, unless your name's Jamarcus Russell. They're guarantees. So I have to disagree with you on that one. Lions played the Rams tough. Guys, the Lions are going to beat us next week. Like, we lack heart. We lack vision. We lack a coach. We lack an owner. We lack a GM. We lack a defense. Our front four sucks. Javon Hargrave had a great season up until this point, was non-existent today. Fletcher Cox is on a milk carton. Like, there's nothing good about this team. Like, nothing. When I say nothing, I mean nothing good about this team. Not even Jake Elliott. That onside kick was one of the worst onside kicks I've ever seen in my life. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. You know? And I forced myself to watch this game so I could have all this build up in my head for the show. It was one of the worst performances I've seen as a Philadelphia Eagles fan to this point. One of the worst. You know, and I'm talking about 2012. It's one of the worst performances I've ever seen. You know, because you're going into the game not expecting much. And then as the game goes on, you know you're not expecting much, but you're like, wow, this is actually worse than I expected. It's like, that's how bad it was, you know?
It's pretty sad when I'm more excited for our Tuesday podcast that we're gonna do since my Knicks and your Sixers are playing.
Absolutely.
I'm more excited for that than doing this post game. It's just been terrible, miserable, and that's coming from the positive guy that likes to see the positive side of everything. And it's just hard to grasp anything positive right now, and just heartbroken watching these games. And we continue to tune in week after week. And I know you're exactly like me. No matter how miserable this team is, we're going to continue to watch week in, week out. And it's just sinking my heart to watch this team play that badly. Because honestly, with the talent, we may not be a playoff team, but we're at least better than what we're playing. We should be at least competitive, and we're not even competing until the end of games when everybody can throw for yards at the end of games when you're getting blown out 30-7.
You know what's weird though? I mean, we beat the Falcons and we beat the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers are understandable because Christian McCaffrey was out for our game as well. They played the Giants today. The Giants looked like world beaters today. They looked great. You know, the Carolina Panthers put up what, 3 points today? You know,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, they stink. We beat them. They stink. The one that doesn't make sense though is we kicked the shit out of the Falcons. And the Falcons are 3-3 on the season. You know,
That's
that
a
doesn't
week
make
one
any sense.
game.
That makes
Week
no
one game.
sense. It is
That's
one
really
game.
what
I
it is.
understand that.
Week one game, anything can happen week one, and that's basically what happened. You have a brand new head coach, still trying to get a feel for his team, and we were able to pull out a victory. Kyle Pitts has been heating up over the last couple of weeks. You didn't think he was going to do anything coming into the season because as a tight end or as a wide receiver, not every single wide receiver or tight end skilled position player comes into the league on fire. Not everybody's Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, which, by the way, both of those two players have been putting up tremendous rookie years back to back. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing when it comes to my prediction on Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, you know, I didn't necessarily think was going to be as great as everyone was saying. He's doing pretty good right now, but even with the stats that he's producing with and the consistency he's putting up week in and week out with Cordell Patterson and Matt Ryan and whoever they have, you have to understand something. When you pick a player that high, you're pretty much saying he's the best player in the draft because he's a tight end. He's coming out as a tight end / wide receiver. All right. You're going to tell me that Kyle Pitts is a better option for that team than Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is probably one of the best rookies I've ever seen. Ever. And you picked Kyle Pitts over him. That's pretty much my explanation on that. Like, you think so much of this Kyle Pitts guy that you would pick him over a guarantee like Jamar Chase. Like, it's just like it's like reaching. It's reaching and expecting something to happen. That's just my thought process on that. But would I trade for a QB in the offseason? I laid down this scenario. I laid down this scenario for somebody. What if we went and got Aaron Rodgers for 2 to 3 years? You know, he's 39 right now. We got him for 2 to 3 years. I think he has 2 to 3 years left. If we got him for 2 to 3 years, we picked a QB in the 2023 class or 2024 class and had them learn behind Aaron Rodgers while he balled the fuck out in Philadelphia. And then we'd be ready to go when he ultimately retired. How would you feel about that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I hate that plan. And I'm just being honest. I don't want to waste draft capital trading for Aaron Rodgers when, this is a team that's far away from competing and we could use every single piece of draft capital that we have to continue to build a squad. And that's
Yeah,
just my personal
but
opinion.
he only signed a 1 year deal with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, but he's going to want to go to a team where he can compete for a Super Bowl. He's only got 2 to 3 years left, like you said. He's going to want to go to a team to compete.
But here's the thing: I think with the picks that we're acquiring next year and the cap space that we're going to have, I feel we could build a team. Like you said, it's a year-to-year league. This year our team stinks. It's done. It's over. Our team stinks. But next year we could turn into a dynamic force. And if you add a dynamic threat like Aaron Rodgers, who's been in the league for years, who kicks the shit out of us every single time he comes to Philadelphia, I feel like it would be a great move. I truly do. I feel like he would fit in well here. I feel like the fans would love him. And I just feel like it gives you an opportunity to build your franchise for the greater of the good, and just send Jalen Hurts to Houston or something, somewhere where he could be happy, somewhere where he could ball out at the end of games where he's down 25 points. Send him somewhere like that, and I just want to go back to that winning formula. And to me, I feel like that would be a perfect fit. I genuinely do.
I'm more interested in trading for Deshaun Watson than Aaron Rodgers.
Really? Okay. Because of the age or because of a fit?
Because of the age and where we are right now, and Deshaun Watson's somebody that, as long as the legal stuff works itself out, somebody we can build around for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
So that's personally my feeling. And I do understand where you're coming from because, like I did talk about earlier in the podcast, it is a year-to-year type of situation where every single year you see 2 to 3 teams that didn't make the postseason the year before make the postseason the next year. But like I said, I don't really want to spend that draft capital for 2 to 3 years to sell out for potentially a Super Bowl when, we could build a team that sustains success over the next 10 years if we have the right young quarterback.
And here's the thing: someone said you have to give up all those picks, Aaron. I disagree with that. Aaron Rodgers, is balling the fuck out on a team that he knows doesn't want him for the future. He's balling out, and he knows that he's going to find a new home soon because they have Jordan Love ready to go. He's been learning. He's pretty much what Aaron Rodgers was to Brett Favre back in 2007. They know he's ready to go. They're just waiting. And when Aaron Rodgers wants to go, the Packers will be like, hey, thanks for everything. Thanks for the Super Bowl. And we'll go with Jordan Love now. And I don't know the deal that Rodgers signed in the offseason, but I'm pretty sure it's a 1-year deal or 2-year deal with an opt-out. So, I mean, I don't know where these picks to get Aaron Rodgers are coming from because I don't think you're going to need to give up much. I just think you need to pay him, and people need to realize that if you have an opportunity to get this quarterback, he could put you in a good position to win a Super Bowl like that. So it's like that's something that I would look into. Definitely.
I understand where you're coming from. Like I said, I'm not disagreeing full on, but from my personal opinion, I would rather have a young quarterback so we can sustain success over the long-term future instead of the intermediate future. I think we should put together a GoFundMe page and raise $4 billion and just buy the Eagles ourselves because maybe we'll run it a little better. Us as the fans, not me and you.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson I could see too. He's only 33. But that's the plan that I would do. If it's not Aaron Rodgers, that's the plan I would do. I would go for a veteran quarterback, maybe one that's someone like a Wilson or Rodgers, because I don't think we're going to get Watson. Watson, if he were to sign anywhere, he would have signed already. I don't believe the Dolphins either. They said that the Dolphins are getting close. I don't believe that for 2 seconds because Watson said he wants to go somewhere where he could win. Why would you go to the Dolphins? They're the worst team in the league. So it's – and Tua kind of balled out today. It's not Tua. It's the team around him. Maybe the coach wasn't the coach that everyone thought he was, and they were at home. So why would Deshaun Watson want to go there? That makes no sense to me. What is Zom thinking for it? He despises Jalen Hurts. And I mean,
that's why I didn't even come on the show.
Yeah, I tried to get him on today, but he's running errands.
Errands.
Yeah, but he does not like him. He actually was all in on Jalen Hurts before the season. Then after the second game, he was like, "Yo, I usually don't admit you're right, but you're right." And he always brings up the fact that I liked Jalen Reagor too because he wants to counteract what he thought about Jalen Hurts because he hates the fact that he liked Hurts at one point. So he likes to counteract it, but it's just one of those things. And Yeah, I've always been right about Jalen Hurts. So if no one wants to give me credit about it, I will credit myself because I am right about another thing. Jalen Hurts is a stiff and he's trash. How about Cam? No. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he didn't work out on the Patriots. Mac Jones actually looks better than him. I didn't think Mac Jones was going to be that good at all. Mac Jones looked better than him. Cam Newton couldn't really throw for over 15 yards consistently last year, from what I saw, and his running ability is not there anymore as much as it was. So, nah, I would have to decline that as well. Get some LBs in the draft. Danny, it's a lost cause. We're not getting a linebacker in the draft. Like it's not going to happen. You know, we get another defensive end before we get a linebacker.
We'll
You
get a
know,
linebacker in the draft the same time we start running the ball on a consistent basis.
right? Exactly. Kyle, you were hating on Reg. Well, you don't watch the show because that's not true. I don't try to hate on Rager because I like Rager. I have his jersey. I picked him in the draft. I thought they were going to pick him in the draft when no one thought that. So I would be the last person to hate on Jalen Rager. Now, has he played poor this season? Yeah, he's been non-existent. But did you guys see that touchdown at the end of the game? And I'm not saying that's a garbage time touchdown because it is. I'm not saying that's not one because it is. But the fact that he uses skill to jump up and grab that shit out of midair just goes to show you that this guy with a good quarterback, I would like to see what he has. Because I'm not giving up on this guy. I'm not. You know, everyone wants to give up on him, but dynamic athletes don't catch the ball like that. You know, so I want to give him a shot. I want to give him a shot at least one more year with a good quarterback, not Jalen Hurts, and we'll go from there.
All right,
Uh,
so I want to bring up a couple of things. So I saw in the comment section somebody asked about Caleb Williams. Well, first of all, we'd have to wait 3 years to go ahead and draft Caleb Williams, and he's just a freshman
freshman.
there at Oklahoma. Somebody that I like,
Oh,
and
yesterday.
yes, I'm an Alabama fan, but I think Bryce Young is the best QB talent that Nick Saban has ever had. You watch him play. I know he's young, but he's mature. He makes the right plays. He makes the right reads. He's a little inaccurate throwing the ball down the field, but overall, he's just, a very good talent coming out of Alabama potentially next year, not this year, but next year. Something that I might say to you, and I saw it in the comment section as well. What about Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins? These are guys that may be available after this year, and you
No.
wouldn't have to give anything up on.
Nope. Nope. I don't want either of those guys. You want to know why I don't want either of those guys? And I can't really talk right now, but I don't want those guys because they're losers. You know, I want people that are not proven winners, but are proven to be in a good position to win. You know what I'm saying? That's why I brought up Aaron Rodgers. Does he win a lot? No, not in the playoffs, but he has that title around his belt. You know, he has that one title against the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2010.
That's not a
Um,
title. That's a discount double check.
does count double check. Exactly. I want people that can come here and prove that they could have success. Baker Mayfield doesn't do that for me. Even though he was a walk-on at Oklahoma, that was pretty cool that he got the number one pick in the draft overall, and he was a walk-on at Oklahoma. That is pretty cool. That means if you work hard, you could do anything. I like that. I just don't like the way he plays the game personally. So I'm going to say no to that. And Kirk Cousins, I just don't like him. I think he's a stiff. I think he's good enough to put up 5,000 yards in a regular season, but not win games. Like, I think he's a
Well, the
stiff.
only reason I brought those two names up is because we wouldn't have to trade for them. And also, they're young enough where if they do work out, you could potentially build around them. Or, if they're a lost cause, you move on from them in 2 seasons and you have somebody that you can groom underneath them. That's the only reason that I brought up that. Kenny Pickett, uh,
Pitt?
he's Kyle, yeah, from Pittsburgh. He's been consistently getting better this year.
Mhm.
Is For me, it looks like more of an outlier. He's been putting up great numbers, but he has consistently gotten better. He's taken himself from a fifth round pick up into probably a second round pick right now. And the closer we get to the NFL draft, which obviously is very far away, you'll start to hear his name more. But, guys like Malik Willis will hear more. Matt Corral will hear more. Kenny Pickett will hear more. There's some names out there that you'll start to hear more about because right now in college football, it's a wash kind of year. Everybody's having an up and down type of season. And, Kenny Pickett's just somebody that's slowly been rising through the ranks. I think you could potentially get him in season or in round 2 or round 3 potentially, depending on how everything stacks up at his combine.
What was that line? I'm trying to say. What was that line in the song "Juicy" from Biggie Smalls, where he ate sardines for dinner and he now he's eating on top of the world or something like that? I want to find out what that line is because it just compares so well to the Eagles situation. And I love Biggie Smalls, by the way. I was a huge fan. All right, so we got a super chat from Philly 500. We stink. Fire everybody. Philly 500 is one of the best Eagles content creators out there. Me and him are heavily invested into Shiba in what is it? Not Coinbase, but it's like a Bitcoin, but it's very small. It's like a fraction of a penny. We're very invested in that. We're gonna be rich one day. But yeah, buddy, I agree with you 100%. Jalen Hurts, not the guy. Nick Sirianni is a joke. His first ever press conference, I knew he was a joke. I read him like the back of my hand. This guy was a fucking dork. And when he was talking about rock, paper, scissors to grown ass men on a football field, I was like, I'm already out on this guy. Like that's just like you can't play kid games on a professional football field. It's business. These guys are millionaires. You can't talk about that shit. And if you're gonna talk about that shit, say it in private so I don't think you're a fucking idiot right out the gate. You know? So Nick Sirianni's gotta go. 100% gotta go. But I thank you for the super chat and hopefully we get a ton of great players next year. Thank you, buddy. What else do we got? Danny's talking. Zach. Oh.
Go ahead, bring it. Bring it.
All right, so I don't know, like how does this franchise fall from grace that quickly? Like how I knew it was possible, but we actually did it. Like, how is it possible? Like you go into these games, and I will be on record and say this right here, right now. I'm on record saying that this is the worst Eagles team I've ever seen. It like out of since 2001, since I became a fan, I was 9 years old. This is the worst Eagles team I've ever seen. Like worse than 2012, worse than 2015. This is the worst team, 100%. Because at least in 2012 you had skill players. You opened up the season well. You were 3-1 in that 2012 season before everyone just broke off because it was Andy's last year and Andy was washed up there. You had the players to move along. I don't know one player from this team that you could just move along with, other than maybe Devonta Smith, possibly. I don't know one player that you could just like build off of based off this game today. Like this game just pissed me off.
Let's go back to 2017. Howie pulled the trigger, went all in that year, brought in LeGarrette Blount, traded for Jay Ajayi, brought in Corey Graham. The list goes on and on. He nailed on, if not every single player he brought in, 99% of them. And guess what it brought us? It brought us a Super Bowl because that was by far our most talented team within at least the last 10 years. And Howie's just tried to continue that trend, and it has not worked out. And then on top of that, and I'm not saying anything about Brandon Graham or anybody because I do enjoy them, but everybody got paid after that Super Bowl. Everybody got paid. Carson Wentz got paid. Brandon Graham got paid. They paid Fletcher Cox. They paid Lane Johnson. They paid all these guys and then continued to try to build through free agency and adding these one-year contracts that haven't worked out since 2017. That's not something that you can continue to do.
Yeah, no. And I'm going to ask you a really, really tough question, Zach, because this is a really good show so far, but we're going to have to cut it short a little bit. Let me ask you a really tough question, and you guys could chime in the comments section if you want to. The Super Bowl was great. It was brilliant. It was one of the best moments of my life. Personally, as a person, not only a sports fan, but as a person. Would you trade that Super Bowl away and we'll still be ringless if it meant not dealing with this shit anymore?
So basically, you're asking me if I want the Donovan McNabb years back or a Super Bowl. Is that basically what you're asking me?
A little bit better than the Donovan McNabb years. Like we have a QB that can win. But we would start over tomorrow and we'd have a QB that can win Super Bowls, but we still don't have a ring yet. Would you take that or would you take the guaranteed ring from the past and then deal with this suck for however long?
As much as it looks like there's no end in sight to this terrible nightmare of a fucking franchise right now, I'm still taking the ring
Me too.
because that's guaranteed.
Me too. 100%. You thought I was going to go the other way. You thought I was going to fucking go the other way.
You
I
set
wouldn't
it
trade
up
that
like
ring for
it.
anything.
You
Anything.
set it. You set it up that way, and this is
Yep.
coming from a Knicks fan that after 20 years is finally starting to get back to relevancy. Now, I'm not saying we're a top 4 team, but we're finally getting back to relevancy where I can be excited. And teams like the Orlando Magic, the games that we're supposed to win, guess what? We blow them the hell out instead of losing a game that we should have won.
Yep. That was one of the best moments of my life ever. I was 25. I'm 29 now. Just turned 29. I wouldn't trade that for anything. I truly wouldn't. And just thinking about it, like going back to the past, like thinking about what we watched today, and then going back to the past and watching that Super Bowl, you think about that moment in your head. You go back to it and you start smiling. You really do. Because it's like you never thought you were going to win it before. Like you see the Vince Lombardi Trophy in like a financial field. That's yours forever. You go back and you think about those moments and you smile after the dog shit we watched today. Now, if we didn't have any rings, this would be a problem. This would be bad.
All right, before we wrap it up, I do have to ask you a question. It's
Yes.
completely off topic, but I just happened to watch it the other day with my wife on Peacock.
Right.
What did you make of the new Halloween movie?
Okay, so I am a diehard Halloween fan. Love Halloween. It's my favorite movie of all time. Not my favorite horror movie. My favorite movie of all time. I've seen a lot of movies. I wanted to be a director when I said I was going to grow up. Didn't happen. Different path, obviously. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. And the reason why I liked it is because I thought the intro was borderline perfect. You know, I thought that the movie itself, was really violent, especially for a Halloween movie. But
Yeah, that was new.
The one thing I liked about this one that the last one lacked, because I didn't like the last one. I didn't like the one in 2018.
Mhm.
The one that I like, the reason why I like this one is because they brought it back to like the old school vibes. They brought it back to where, in 1978, he came downstairs. Dr. Loomis had the gun to his head,
Yeah.
and he wanted to shoot him. He wanted to kill him, and then the young cop said no. Like he wanted to, he was doing a service, even though the guy won't die no matter what.
Mhm.
I just thought it was a very well-made movie. Now, I can understand why people wouldn't like it because they're not really involved with the Halloween series.
You got to be a diehard fan to
You have to be
understand
a
how good
diehard
the
to
movie
understand
was.
what went on. Like me and Joey Shakes, we're diehards. You had to be a diehard to understand what was going on. And the next movie is the last one. It's called Halloween Ends. And in the script, and I hope they don't do this. In the script, they're actually prepared to kill off Michael Myers. In what way do you think?
I hope they take off his damn head.
They're thinking about killing him with COVID.
What?
Yep.
Get
In
out
the
of here.
script,
Get out of here.
in the script, he is possessed. Well, he's always been possessed, but in the script, they said that COVID is the only thing that could kill him. Now, I hope they change that because I don't know if I like that. But
You know what I was thinking? And
Yeah.
I know this is crazy theory-based stuff. You know how the rumor is that Laurie has to die in order for Michael to die, and he constantly kills people? What
Yeah.
if Michael was the victim this whole time, and all he was trying to do was get back to his house and watch over his baby sister Angel, and all
Yeah.
these people were getting in the way, so he was just killing them to get back to his home, and this whole time he didn't understand he was the victim the whole time. And now I know that's a crazy theory, but
Yep.
that's how I would have liked to see it. How he ends up getting back with Lori, and they understand each other, and he's just a poor, sweet, innocent victim, obviously a mass murderer, but
Yeah.
really he's just misunderstood and just wants to go back home, and they die together.
Well, see, I would agree with that theory. But here's the thing. I would agree with that theory if it were just people in his house, just random people in his house that he was trying to get out and just kill him because he is a psycho murderer. But the reason why I can't agree with that theory is because he goes out of his way to kill other
Mhm.
people. That's the reason why I can't agree with that theory. But
And
I
I
would like
understand
to,
that.
but the reason why I like that is because it makes sense. But if he didn't go out of his way to kill other people,
Yeah, and like
um,
the villain was really Dr. Loomis, who brought him to other people to kill
yeah,
instead of him just wanting to go home and being back to his childhood. And
yeah.
that's what it would have been nice to see it finish up like that. Obviously, especially with the last movie, how crazy it got. There's no way that they could make that possibly happen now. But that's kind of the theory that I thought, and it would have been nice to see it come to an end like that.
And it's great. You just saw how excited I get for movies. When we do the stream for the Sixers and Knicks, we should talk about some movies and stuff. I love that shit. But yeah, all in all, I would rate Halloween Kills 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it.
You have to find the little baskets inside of the movie to really appreciate it. Now,
Yeah,
it was a lot gorier than any other Halloween movie outside of the Rob Zombie ones, but they really had so many pieces and they put it together from 1978 up to 40 years later.
yeah.
They really put all the pieces together nicely. The nurse, Tommy, everybody. It was just really nice to see how they brought everything back and really made it make sense again.
Exactly. Now, someone asked Chucky or Michael Myers. I'll answer this as simple as possible. I would pick the Leprechaun over Chucky. I hated Chucky. I thought Chucky was the most useless villain of all time. You could literally just kick him across the room. Problem solved. Done.
Punt that little
Over.
bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I despised that series. Michael Myers is the ultimate serial killer of all time. One that I'll put in mentions, one that I'll actually put out there that people might not agree with. I actually liked Ghostface. I thought Ghostface was a good serial killer
Hmm.
from Scream, and they're actually making a new one
Yep.
because that's a real life serial killer. And if you watch the first Scream with the babysitter scene, it's one of the most riveting, creepy scenes of all time because that could actually happen. So I would actually have to put him up there with Michael Myers, to be honest with you. Well, both of them. Um, but with that said, listen, we had a lot of fun. We finished off on a movie note, which is interesting. I loved it. Um, but Zach and I will be back on Tuesday, for the Eagles Nets Knicks game, and then we'll be back on Wednesday or Thursday for
We're
the
gonna do
Eagles.
Wednesday. Thursday, I've been going to play basketball with the boys, so I got to get the exercise in.
All right, so back to back days with Zach and I. We don't know when Zom's coming back. He's usually a guy that just comes and goes as he pleases, but he's still free on the show. He's still open to come on. But like I said,
Zomp, I love and miss you.
if you guys like the show, if you guys like the channel, if you guys like us, hit the subscribe button, like the content, like the page, press that thumbs up button on YouTube. Follow us on Follow Like an Eagle Podcast on Spotify. I'll post the last two episodes, or Zach will post the last two episodes. I guess tomorrow morning. The other one's done. This one's got to get finished. And yeah, hopefully you guys come back because other than the Fly Like an Eagle podcast, obviously Zach and I, we talk a lot. And I feel like you guys saw our movie conversation, so we could definitely add more to the dynamic. Um, but yeah, hopefully you guys like us and you guys come back. So with that said, this is Fly Like an Eagle podcast. I'm Kyle. That is Zach, and we will be back here on Tuesday night for Knicks and Sixers.